All right, it is 7 o'clock and we are getting started. Welcome back to the Hobby Hangout live stream. Sorry, just getting a little situated here. Adjust this camera real quick. There we go. So today, let me start over. Welcome back to Big Nerds Wargaming. My name is Sam, and today on the Hobby Hangout live stream, I'm painting some Necron terrain, which I 3D printed a while back, because I'm going to need this terrain for the Pariah Nexus Crusade series, which we have live on the channel. So if you haven't seen that yet, be sure to check that out. Got some cool battle reports going with a Necron force that faces a array of opponents, different armies, a lot of familiar faces that you've seen on the channel before. So we're having a lot of fun with that. But yeah, so I want to get some Necron themed terrain going for some of the later episodes. So I want to film some more battle reports for you guys. And yeah, so I printed these. These are from a designer called Sacramundus. This is the name, which you can find on all the STL sites. I purchased these from My Mini Factory. There's a whole bunch. I just printed a couple pieces here. I'm gonna be printing some more, but really cool Necron themed buildings, as you can see. So I'm gonna paint up hopefully all of these tonight. They're not glued together, as you can see. That's okay. So I'm gonna set some of these aside and clear off some space. And I'm gonna focus on just these two right here for now. Move that one off to the side too. So we'll focus on just this one here, and I think these will paint up fairly quickly. I'm just going to do something kind of simple. So, you know, your typical Blackstone design. Just kind of taking a look at what we got here. So, definitely want to do some of that Necron green glow. And I'm thinking maybe in these pieces here on the base, and possibly going up here, and we can make this like metal. Maybe make these metal to kind of break up the blackness, and then we'll do some dry brushing techniques. Yeah, I think that'll look nice. Well, let's get started on that. So, looking at some colors. So before I did like a layered dry brush approach, so I did Thunderhawk blue, and then I worked my way up to Dawnstone, I think. Or maybe even some Rust Gray. Have to go at like the blue stone look. Maybe like a lighter gray Administratum for the final bits there. And then for the greens, we'll get to the greens later, but then we want some metallics, so I'll probably just dry brush maybe some Iron Breaker on the metals and go from there. And then we got some ground coloring to fill in too. We'll probably go for like a brownish gray, so that easy blends in with everything. As far as terrain tables go. So, let's start with some dry brushes. Actually, I think I'm going to start with Incubi Darkness. And, oh, maybe we'll go, yeah, Incubi Darkness, and then we'll build up on the metals. So, I got a little mini vortex mixer, which has been working out real great, saving me a lot of trouble, a lot of shaking by hand. This isn't like one of those fancy ones. It's kind of an off-brand. Just picked up on Amazon. But so far it's working out pretty good. Pretty well. Alright, that is sufficiently shook. Alright, so for this, I'm going to use my big old makeup brush, dry brush. Let's get some of that on my wet palette here. And I'm probably going to do all of these at the same time, just to get this step all done with, and then go back to each piece, and then I'll finish painting up the rest of them. So, gonna get most of that cleared away. Let's just do some testing here to see, because I don't want to do too much. Yeah, it's a bit much, but I think that'll be okay once this is all said and done with. I get some more of that wiped off. Just kind of going lightly over by the cracks and where there's texture. Just really trying to break up that black color so it's not all, you know, samey everywhere. So we're gonna work our way around here where we got this texture. Yeah, all around in here. The black stone is kind of coming apart. Yeah, terrain can go fast or it can go very slowly. It all depends on how much detail you want to put into it. I personally don't put in a ton of detailed work into terrain. Or also use an airbrush for a lot of it. You can get away with a lot. The airbrush and helps things go fast and get a lot of cool blends going. But I like the terrain to kind of be in the background of the game. But I do want it to look nice. So it's all finding that right balance. And you should put more effort in on the miniatures themselves. They're the stars of the show, right? So just gonna kind of do a couple layered dry brushes here. Inky by Darkness. I'm gonna need some more paint. I have a bigger brush. I need a bigger brush here to get all this paint out. There we go. So if you're new to the channel, we do painting videos, we do battle reports, we do Warhammer and hobby related topics and discussion. And usually on Tuesdays, I know it's not been the most consistent, but usually on Tuesdays I do some live stream hobby hangout, just kind of share what I'm working on and kind of talk through what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Maybe you'll find it entertaining or informative or both, hopefully both. Yeah, and we hang out, we have a good time. Sometimes we get a good chat going. We just talk about all things hobby related. It's a good time. And that's usually on Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central Time. But if you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing, if I will be streaming or not, be sure to check the community tab on YouTube. I usually post day of, whether it's happening or not happening. And we have a Twitter or X account where I post updates there as well. I'm actually starting to use that now, so if you've seen it in the past and it looked empty, yeah, that's why, because I wasn't using it, but now I am. So trying to build up the Twitter following too, so be sure to check that out as well. All right, so Inky by Darkness. Now let's work our way up to Thunderhawk Blue. I'm going to use the same big brush. What am I doing? Shaking this like a pleb. Oh, yeah. So I'm working my way up to a lighter gray blue color, Thunderhawk Blue. And we're still going to use the big brush for this one. I'm not even going to clean off my old paint. It's already dried. I just want to kind of really attack the edges with this, kind of moving in little circles to go around. So as we work our way up to brighter and brighter colors, just really attacking the edges a bit harder and harder each time. Just to kind of accentuate that detail. Necron terrain. Oh, the humanity. Yes. Hello again, David. Nice of you to join us. I printed a bunch of Necron terrain for the Pariah Nexus. Can't have a Tomb World without Tomb World terrain. I see this, yes. So just working my dry brushing terrain. Quick, easy paint jobs. One could argue you just can't have a Tomb World. And the Xenos have nowhere to hide. That is absolutely right. Right. So this color I'm using is, once again, Thunderhawk Blue. In a big old makeup brush. Adding some light coloring to that black stone. Give it a little bit of character. Had a fun battle with them this weekend in the three-way again. Tau and World Eaters. Tau, World Eaters, and Necrons? Oh, Sisters. Almost finished assembling all the remaining Sisters units I want to put together. Nice. You'll have a complete army then. Assembled, yeah. That's always a good feeling. I got quite the pile of shame myself that I need to get to at some point. All right, let's do some metallics next. I think. So I'm gonna shake this up. A fancy schmancy vortex mixer. Angron is tough. Yes, he is. And he dies and comes back, right? Does he still do that? Yeah, my local gaming group here, we kicked off our crusade. I'm playing Tyranids in that. And so far, so good. I'm 2-0. Leveling up my bugs. Just playing the Tyrannic War with that one. A lot of fun. I chipped 20 points of that guy in one turn. Then he was suddenly in my face. Yeah, corn is hard to deal with, those intense melee units that have such speed. There's really nothing you can do once they get to you. I struggle with that too sometimes. I also had a similar experience against some Space Wolves. That was rough. Yeah, the Wolf Rider guys, they're nasty. Alright, so metallics, I'm just doing some more dry brushing here. Gonna move to a smaller brush. And I'm doing a Iron Breaker. And then these pillars here on the side, I'm just going to dry brush with the Iron Breaker. And this is what's great about dry brushing over metallics over black, is because it goes on kind of thin, but then you get kind of a shaded effect, as if you did null oil everywhere, but you don't actually have to do anything because it's got like that nice, you know, blackness in the inner parts. And for terrain, that's perfect. Kind of saves you a step there. So I'm kind of leaving the brush a little bit more full of paint, just so that I have more to work with here. And then being careful not to get it on the black stone. And then there's some spots in here that I see I missed with the primer, but I'm not even going to worry about it because it's like up in here and it's facing down when it's on the table, so you're not even going to see it. That's how much I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to terrain. Just got to work at a distance. Also, some exciting news. I will be getting upgraded internet in the near future. I don't have an exact date yet, but we'll be getting some fiber internet connection, so live streams should be a lot more faster and stable. higher quality, more frames. Oops, what am I doing? All that good stuff. That's not supposed to be metal. So I'm looking forward to getting that set up once we go live with that. So hopefully there'll be less delay in the chat. Some higher picture quality. I might even be able to stream in 4K. Whoa, I know. But it will also make uploading videos to the channel a lot quicker too. So I'm really excited about that. Very cool. Paint your modem red. Yeah. That's the orc thing to do, right? Yeah, so this terrain especially, I think is going to paint up really quick. A lot of it you can do with dry brushing, and it's kind of mostly black to begin with. So that's why I wasn't too intimidated when I printed out a bunch of this stuff. I got 2 more structures on the side table here that I'll get to next. But I'll probably just take this one to completion. And then rinse and repeat. But I really like this design. This is by Sacramundus. Sacramundus. It's the same one who did have some more Necron obelisks that I painted on stream a couple weeks ago. That's the same designer there. And then I have another set of Necron terrain from a different creator. Those are pretty good too, but I think these ones by Sacramundus are my favorite. They seem to have the right aesthetic and scale and level of detail, and they print really nicely. So I'm a huge fan there. All right, I'm gonna mix in some Runelord brass up here, just to kind of add some more color and make it look a little bit more like the Saracen dynasty, or Caesarican, depending on how you pronounce it. The new shaker thing is working out for me quite well. It's saving me a lot of shaking, as one would imagine. Hello, Avery. Gonna get some Runelord brass. Up in here. This brush is cleaned off real quick. What next here? I guess we could start doing some more edge highlighting on the black stone. I'm gonna go to a smaller dry brush for that. I'm gonna use Rust Gray. What am I doing shaking this pot? I have to get used to this thing. Digging the pot holders. Oh, my my paint rack. Yeah, I probably don't. I'm usually zoomed in a lot further, and you can't see it. I have 3 of them. One here, here, here. Actually, there's one over here too. I got 4 of them. But yeah, they work great. They're nail polish stands. Acrylic nail polish holders. You can find them on Amazon. They're like $13, $15 or so a rack. And they're just about the right size for Citadel paint pots. Can have everything all organized by color right in front of me. They do take up a lot of space, though. I will say that. So, well, luckily I have a nice big desk in front of me, or workbench. But it is getting full, and I'm running out of space if I get more paint. I'm just gonna very lightly try to get these hard, sharp edges. Right around here. Got that detail on the black stone. How many pots do they hold? There's a couple different sizes, but this one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, and maybe about 12 on each row. So 12 times 6, depending on what size you get. Plus or minus an inch or two, depending on what brand. That's the thing, I have a hard time finding the exact same ones because they're like those no-name Chinese brands that like appear and disappear on Amazon. So the next time you order another one, it's like a different brand, slightly different, but the concept is the same. So all 4 of these are just a little different, which is a little annoying. But if you buy them all at once, then you won't have that problem. $72 pots. Yeah. This sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah, between that and contrast paints and shades, and I got a bunch of those Army Painter air paints, which are really nice because they're like pre-mixed to the right consistency. You just kind of shake them up and pour them in and use them. I am a fan. Okay, I'm just kind of working my way all around here. Coming to life. Found a guy on Etsy that makes a 3-tier Lazy Susan designed for Pro Quill. I have the big black and white air paints I use. Prime Zenithal. Yeah. Little Travis. Yeah, I use the Vallejo airbrush primer. That works pretty good, especially in the wintertime when it's harder to get out there with a rattle can and prime stuff in the dead of winter. The only downside is that Vallejo stuff while it's a really nice primer, it doesn't adhere as hard as the rattle can stuff, so it can chip a little bit easier. So you definitely have to varnish when you're done painting for that protective coat. Oh yeah, these pieces, they go together so you get kind of like an L shape. And got some more over here too. We got this one, and then there's another one. I've been printing quite a bit. All right. You know, I might just stop there and not do Administratum Gray. I think that's about as light as I want that Blackstone getting. So, I think we can move on to some of that magical green glow. Shake up this Corax white here. This paint needs shaken. It's a horrible paint. Horrible color. I want to get the... I've heard nothing but good things about the Pro Acryl Titanium White. It's supposed to be like the best pure white paint. Way better than White Scar or Corax White as far as coverage and consistency and everything goes. So I'll have to give that a try. Get a little bit of water in here, kind of make it a little bit more flowy. Just kind of using a bigger junky brush here, since this is terrain. Trying to stay in these lines here. I bought a bunch of Fanatic line from Army Painter. That stuff covers really well. Tried the new white. Yeah, I've also heard nothing but good things about Fanatic. I was eyeing the complete set for $500. I was eyeing it. Really tempted. My thought was, oh, I could get this and I wouldn't have to buy miniature paints ever again. You know, of course, then there's going to be some color or shade. But, I mean, that would, for the most part, kind of cover you for a long time, especially if you do a lot of painting. Not a bad deal, too, for what you get. Yeah, worst case, you'd be out a single pot if you don't like it. Yeah, I should give the Fanatic a try. Like I saw on their marketing material, they like painted black bases with that Fanatic paint, and like the yellow, just the yellow's just covered so well. It's like, okay, well, this is, you know, their marketing material. How well do they actually work? So, but you know, from what I've seen from other reviewers and people online, that they are quite good. So I am definitely very curious about those. So here, there's like this metal pattern going down here. I'm just gonna put the white in the inner bits here, and then when I go over this whole thing with Tesseract Glow, we'll have kind of a mix of more and less intense green glow with the going over the Iron Breaker and then the Corax White. I think that'll probably turn out cool. We'll see. Over here, I think we're just going to leave that how it is, and going to do the same treatment over here. I'm trying to be neat here, but I'm not worried about being perfect because it is just terrain after all. And it is the backdrop of the battlefield. It gets less judgment, less scrutiny than the miniatures themselves. My local game store had a demo deal set up for Fnatic a couple weeks ago. I was excited to try them. Nice. I picked up the $50 one, the 50 color one for 200. Came with a nice strand too. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm liking Army Painter more and more. My biggest turnoff to them in the past was you had to really, really mix them. Even with the mixing balls, you'd be shaking them at least 2 or 3 times as long as you would like a Citadel pot. But ever since they came out with the air paints, I've been using them more and more and liking them as a good alternative instead of just going full Citadel. Because I like competition, you know. I like to support the other guys too. Can't have one top dog player for everything, at least. All right. The ground. What to do about the ground? So we have some mud and dirt. Maybe do some stippling. Steel Legion drab, I think, and maybe a little bit of maybe a gray in there. A little bit of Mechanicus standard gray. I'll start with Steel Legion drab, and I'll grab a junky brush. This ought to do. This thing is fun to use. Just gonna get some of that on my palette and remove a little bit. And I'm just gonna kind of messily just kind of stipple all around here on the dirt and ground. And if I get a little bit on the ruin itself, that is okay, because it is dirt, it is the ground. Just kind of rotating my brush around as I do it. This brush isn't like a round tipped, it's kind of flat. Just trying different things. I like to paint terrain really fast. I get really impatient when it comes to terrain. So anything that I can do to speed up the process and make it look good, while doing so, I will try. And if it doesn't look good, I'll just throw a dark brown wash over everything and try again. Time to work on my Wolfen. Yes. Those nasty and nasty space wolves. Running out of desk space. This terrain's so big and chunky. Alright, and now I'm going to do the exact same thing, but with Mechanicus Standard Gray. Oh Lord, they angry. Alright, same deal. Mechanicus Standard Gray. So, my secret is gray and brown. When you mix them together for terrain basing, it'll make your terrain pretty much go with any battle mat that you put it on. Because those neutral colors will just blend in with anything. That way you don't have to worry too much about matching the theme of the battle mat. Unless that's the look you're going for, you know, like snow, for example. You probably want snow on all your stuff. But I like to try to make things general and versatile as much as possible. So by mixing colors like this, you can achieve that effect. Just a real messy stipple there. There we go. It's kind of a up-close look. Not bad. Alright, now it's time for some green glow on this, and moving on to the next piece. Get off my brush a little bit. I gotta paint all over my fingers. Alright, the Tesseract glow. Let's do the vortex mixer test here. So look how separated this is. I'm going to put it in on an angle like this. I do have an agitator ball in there, so... it's mixing. It's mixing pretty well. It got all blurry. Uh-oh. Alright, I'd say that is sufficiently mixed, as it should be. Where is my junky shade brush? I have a junky shade brush and I have a good shade brush. There it is. Color me impressed. Yeah, it's fun. I like it. Makes me feel like a pro with my vortex mixer. So we're going to light up this Necron ruin. This is my favorite part about painting Necrons. The cool effect color. My cousin is doing his Necrons with like a muddy dirt texture paint. And it looks like they're kind of emerging out of the sand desert. They're all covered in sand and dirt and mud. They look really cool. I have a Vortex mixer from a few years back for Christmas, and it's a game changer. Yeah. I should have bought this years ago. I think biggest game changer is the wet palette, and then after that, Vortex mixer. It's just so nice. Now, if I wanted to push this effect a little bit further, I could do a dry brush of a darker green, like Warpstone below is a good one. Around the edge of the light, and you get kind of an OSL effect. Make it look like the light's glowing out of the crack. But I'm cutting a corner here because I want these pieces done more than I want them perfect. And as I'm painting this, I noticed that there's some dirt and mud on this side of the base, which I completely missed when I was doing my my stippling of the base textures, so I have to go back and touch that up as soon as I finish this Tesseract Glow. Alright, let's get that ground texture, and then this is ready for some glue. Yeah, it will be done. Done ski. Get that brown earth color. And the gray. There you go. Now this stuff sometimes is hard to glue, but I think I can get away with super glue. I like to use this this gel stuff because it expands and helps fill the gaps. And hoping that it'll get a nice adhesion between these exposed layer lines here. We'll see. Sometimes I don't have much luck with super glue and 3D printed stuff. I have used in the past that Gorilla Glue that expands. It's like orange colored. That stuff works pretty well. But I unfortunately don't have any on me at the moment, so super glue gel it is. A nice big dab on these platforms. Almost out of super glue. Let's open up another bottle. This stuff goes so quickly. I buy the bulk pack of this kind of glue instead of a big bottle, because when I have a bigger bottle, the nozzle always gets jammed and clogged from glue drying, and then it's like practically useless anyway, so. Hopefully this will hold, otherwise I'll have to put some glue on the edges too. Alright, we have one ruin done. That painted up pretty quickly. Let's do some more. We'll do this one next. It's a two-story one. Yeah, carefully move this off the table. Let it dry. This one's kind of a similar story, but we got a couple pieces here. So some floors and different Necron texture going on here. So I think we're gonna do blackstone, and then these outer buttresses I'll do in Runelord brass, and then the inner ones we'll do metal colored, and then obviously these will be glowing green. I need to buy some STLs to print smaller ruins format, GW terrain format ones to pair with my MDF terrain. Yeah, this stuff actually's got some pretty good variety. The designer for this is Sacramundus. You can find them on My Mini Factory, but there's a lot of good stuff from that creator. Would recommend. All right. Incubi Darkness once again. Incubi Darkness, my old friend. I've come to paint with you again. Back to the big old dry brush. I have 6 small and large ruins, WTC style ones. I wish there was something better for tournament terrain than just the ruined buildings. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love ruined cities. They're awesome. They're very grimdark, very 40k, but it's always ruins all the time. And I get a little sick of that sometimes. I like some cool alien planets and hills and mountains and trees and stuff like that. I feel like you don't see any of that hardly in tournament play, which is unfortunate. That's also why I'm really excited about Crusade play, narrative play, is it kind of gives you an excuse to break away from that, you know, standard terrain format layout and try something new and create a cool battlefield that kind of is telling a story. Maybe not be symmetrical. I actually like it when battlefields are asymmetrical. Makes them really interesting. where there might actually be an advantage to picking one side over the other, depending on your army. This Incubi darkness is really hard to see on the camera. Very subtle. But working from light or from dark to light, layering up dry brushes like this, it does make a difference. And if you just go straight to the light colors right away, gives you a nice smooth blend. And I think it is definitely worth the extra step. Around here, this black stone is kind of broken apart. The pack I bought came with forests and craters, so some variety. Yeah, that's some variety. Forests at least are nice. Also, I feel like Games Workshop should sell more terrain. They have like some really cool stuff, but it seems like they only have like a couple things available at a time, and then they stop selling it, or it goes out of production, and then it becomes like a collector's item. Like I'm still trying to get my hands on the Dark Angels Fortress of Redemption, or Space Marine Fortress of Redemption. From way back. It is such a cool kit. And when I first got back into 40k back in like 2021, I think it was 2021, they had it still available on the website, and I thought to myself, well, that's cool, I'll pick that up eventually. And then they stopped making it, and they stopped selling it, and that made me really sad. Because now they're going for like $500+ on eBay, which is just insane. I like it. I don't know if I like it that much. It's one of those things I'll have to keep an eye out for future swap meets and whatnot to see if I can snag me one of those. Because it'll be the one that got away. I would buy a few sprues of terrain that came with that Scout Scorpions Kill Team box. The oil rig stuff? Is that the one you're talking about? Where it's like over water? Actually, backed a really cheap Kickstarter that has essentially that terrain. It's styled a little bit differently, but it's meant so that you could print that terrain and play that kill team scenario. I've yet to print it, of course. I'm starting to become a digital hoarder. I see cool Kickstarters or like STL sales, and I'll buy stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, I still have to print it. And then it's like, oh, once you print it, I have to paint it too. So now I get the pile of shame that I buy, and then the pile of shame that I buy and print. I don't know why I do this to myself. That's just life in the hobby, I guess. Too many projects, not enough time. Moments of intense ambition, followed by moments of lack of ambition and laziness. And forgetting how long it actually takes to do things sometimes. Just get caught up in the moment. Alright. Gonna move on to the Russ Gray. Some Mechanicum stuff. Yeah. There's like a big like cylinder and then like a platform on top. Like some walkways and stuff. Yeah, that stuff looks pretty cool. I also found another Kickstarter. They did, they have a whole, like, modular Sector Imperialis style kit. So you can, like, in various degrees of destructiveness. Oh, this brush is still wet. That's no good. I need it to be dry. It's a dry brush. I have to find a different brush. But yeah, you can print all the pieces off and then kind of build your own kits from it. So you can make your match play style L's and you know, kind of more narrative themed big building kind of stuff. That was really cool. But yeah, they did another series of terrain that's all modular like that, but it's like Forge World Mechanicum stuff, which is pretty cool. It's that dopamine hit for me building the new cool stuff and realizing how much it actually takes time to paint. Yeah. I definitely get the dopamine hit when you buy a bunch of stuff. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna build this up. I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna play with it next week. And you're like, all right, maybe not next week. Maybe next month. Maybe next quarter. Yeah, I just finished the Tyranids I bought at Adepticon. My Death Leaper and Lictors. Those moved up to the front of the queue. And even those took a lot longer than I thought. And I just finished my my Biovore for my Tyranids, which I bought when the Codex came out last summer. Just been sitting. I'm trying to exercise a little bit more self-control. But some stuff is just too hard to pass up. I just get excited. So I think this one's going a little bit quicker than the last piece, because I kind of know what I'm doing here now, instead of figuring it out as I go. I'm kind of getting in the flow. Just working my way through it. Which I also find happens when you paint more regularly. Less time ramping back up to what you're doing. Less time reestablishing the basic brush control. Figuring out how the paint works. How much water you need to add to certain colors, all that stuff. And it just becomes more second nature. You're able to kind of pick up and make a lot of progress real quickly. At least that's what it's like for me. Alright. Next, we're going to add some metallics to this. I'm gonna wash off this brush real quick. Yeah, I'm saving up for the Sisters release this summer. I'll be back. Time to feed the twins. Twins! Oh my. That's a lot of responsibility. One might say twice the amount of responsibility. Yeah, my sister-in-law has twins. Their husband. And that looks like quite the handful. Yeah, the Sisters release. I wonder if they're gonna come out with any cool new units for them or not. What the deal is there. I'm excited for the Gene Stealer cult over the summer. I have a ton of Gene Stealer cult that's still in the box that I need to paint and get to. And I'm hoping new Gene Stealer cult codex and all that stuff will kind of inspire me to start working on that. So I'm trying to work through my Necron backlog currently. I got some Eldar stuff I need to finish up, and of course the never-ending Space Marine backlog. And then here I am getting more Tyranid stuff too. I'll never be done collecting Tyranids, I think. I'm always adding to the swarm. There's never enough Tyranids. I do love them so much. And of course, I got some sisters I need to paint as well. Eventually want to have that army built up. They seem like a fun army to play and collect, and I just like their lore and their aesthetic. Kind of gives me an excuse to build a big, huge Imperial Cathedral terrain. That'd be really fun. And then one day I'd also like to do a Demons of Khorne Chaos Army. I also want to do the Black Legion, Space Marines. There's very few armies that I wouldn't collect. Let's put it that way. There's just they really got the monopoly on designs and cool aesthetics, because man, there's a lot of really cool armies out there. Which is kind of a shame, because there's other games too I want to play, like Armada, Battletech, besides Warhammer, but I don't know. Warhammer's got the strong pull with those really cool armies and models. And the lore and everything. I love the setting. Lord Brass. Yeah, I think I like that paint scheme. Oh yeah, and then my knights. I'm hoping to get those knights painted up and kind of done and out of the way, so I don't have to worry about painting them. Hopefully soon. I ordered some airbrush paints for those. I think I decided what house I'm going to do. I forgot the name of the house, but they have like a a like ivory cream color. It's their primary color with like a dark brown, like metallic for the metal parts, and then kind of gold, light gold trim going around the rest. I think that'll look really cool. I'm hoping to knock those out pretty quickly. I've only got 2 big knights and 4 armigers. And I'll probably have to get another big knight so I can get up to 2,000 points with those, but I'll be content with 1,500 for a while once those are painted. All right. Let's add some, let's work on the green, the glow. Just gonna get some on the orbs here. This Korax white. Oh, maybe this exposed rad. That'd be kind of cool if it was glowing. I'll lighten that up, get it ready for the glow. Knights are too large for me. Cool as hell. I'll get out, but too large. Yeah. They are quite large. I definitely would want an airbrush for those, which I do have. So I feel like painting knights without an airbrush would be a bit daunting. But it is, each model is kind of quite the project. I think I might actually add some more washes to this. Maybe Basilicon. Well, first of all, I think Cryptic Armor Shade. Where are you? Over the brass parts. I think that'll help. Give this a good shake. And then having to do all the detail work. Yeah, and then I want to like weather up my knights too, so they look a little more battle damage and not so clean and pristine. So I'm going to go over the Runelord Brass with this Canoptic Alloy shade. It's going to really bring out the brown. And then a light dry brush of Canoptic Alloy after this is done. We'll kind of add the shine back to it. But I just wanted to make it look a little bit more interesting and, you know, not like all the other ones where it's just black and silver. You know, the clean Necrons. This is kind of more directly matching the paint scheme I use for the Sarkhan Dynasty as well. So kind of tie it all together with the terrain. And when does a wash not look good on terrain? Just real loosely applying this too. Not worrying about being too neat. I'll have to destroy it anyways. Yeah, I'm liking this so far. Maybe I'll do Mechanicus Gray. Nah, maybe I'll leave it metal. Ironbreaker. Yeah, I think I'll leave it Ironbreaker. What can I do? I wait for this to dry. I suppose I could speed up the drying, or I could do the Tesseract Glow. I'll do that next. I try to paint in a manner where I can rotate colors and paint the next color while the first one's drying to maximize my efficiency. It's easy to do once you have the scheme figured out, but when you're figuring out the scheme, it's not so easy. Gotta get these glowing green orbs. Can't have Necron without the green glow. Yeah, I'm liking this. It's simple. Very simple paint scheme. But it works. And that's a win-win. Simple paint schemes that work. Getting stuff done. Oh my, looks like there is a tornado warning. Yeah, a tornado warning. That's not good. So if my stream drops suddenly, it may be the internet, it may be the house lifting up in the air. Probably the former. I don't believe I've ever been in an active tornado warning. Oh, I have many times. They're a little unnerving. Yeah, it's always exciting. All right, so I'm gonna grab my hair dryer. I'll try to dry off this shade I did. Just trying to get this brass ready for a little dry brush. The warning is set to expire in 25 minutes. But looks like the internet is still holding strong. Stream quality says it's excellent, so that's good. Yeah. I live in the Midwest, so we get tornado warnings every now and then. Not as often as other places. I have sailed through a couple typhoons. Now that sounds terrifying. Yeah, the tornadoes have been in great communication. Although, it is a little bit of a surprise. I know that we're supposed to get some severe thunderstorms today. But, yeah, I was not expecting a tornado warning. And a warning means that they actually spotted one, so... no joke. Oh, 1 second. I'll be right back. Alright, well, the sirens are going off. So we'll probably be okay, but I'm just going to cut the stream short and just make sure everyone's alright. So thanks for joining us, and I'll be back probably next week. Have a great evening, everybody. Bye.